But I've been noticing that the lies from these guys it's beginning to pile up. For those of you guys who don't know, Brian Windhorst, Shams, ESPN, they have been on a lying spree for like the last 2 weeks, man. The last 2 weeks, and no one is saying anything.
This is where the story truly begins. A bombshell revelation about the media's complicity. For weeks, ESPN's biggest names, Windhorst, Shams, were caught in a web of deceit. They spun narratives, twisted truths, and actively misled fans. But why? What was the real motive behind this coordinated campaign of misinformation? It wasn't about unbiased reporting. It was about protecting a brand, a legacy. The sheer audacity of this public deception is staggering, and the silence from the mainstream is deafening. We're talking about a narrative so meticulously crafted, it almost went undetected. But the cracks started to show, revealing the true agenda at play. The basketball world watched, confused as conflicting reports flooded the timelines. On one hand, LeBron James was a free agent, a generational talent, supposedly in high demand. On the other, the Lakers were making bold moves, charting a new course. The media machine, however, was working overtime to control the narrative. Their goal? To ensure their king left the kingdom with his crown firmly in place, even if it meant distorting reality for millions of fans. But what if the king wasn't actually in control? What if his empire was crumbling right beneath his feet? Get ready, because the truth is far more shocking.
If they offer him anything less than a max contract, per Brian Windhorst of ESPN, it says, Windhorst noted that James and his camp want the Lakers to make a contract offer, and if it's for anything less than the maximum, they want the Lakers to explain why and what other players they are going to target.
Here it is, Exhibit A. Brian Windhorst, a seemingly credible source from ESPN, drops this gem. LeBron's camp demanding a max contract? Not just that, but an explanation if the Lakers dared to offer less. This isn't just negotiation, it's a power play, a demand for absolute deference. Remember when LeBron famously said, "Money doesn't matter"? Suddenly, every penny, every clause, every potential dollar saved by the Lakers was under intense scrutiny. It exposed the true priority, securing the bag. This wasn't about championship aspirations or team cohesion initially. It was about leveraging every last cent out of the Lakers. The king wanted his due, or he wanted answers. But did anyone else find this demand a little excessive? The irony is almost comical. For years, the narrative was LeBron prioritizes winning, not money. Yet, when the chips were down, the max contract became a non-negotiable. This wasn't a humble request. It was an ultimatum. It painted a clear picture of what was truly driving the king's decision-making process. His camp wasn't just asking. They were telling the Lakers how to value their star, dictating terms and challenging their future plans. But how long could this charade last when the team itself was trying to build for a future beyond one player? The chess pieces were moving, and not everyone was playing by the same rules.
There has been incoming calls from every team with the excitement of possibly him playing for them. And so at 41 years of age, going on 42, I think that's something to be extremely...
Rich Paul, LeBron's agent, goes on record, claiming an unprecedented level of interest. Incoming calls from every team. 10 to 12 teams. This wasn't just a statement. It was a desperate PR blitz, an attempt to conjure up leverage where none existed. Think about it. A 41-year-old approaching 42, still commanding the entire league's attention? It sounds impressive, but when you have to publicly state such a thing, it often means the opposite is true. If teams were truly clamoring, Rich Paul wouldn't need to be on the airways broadcasting it. This was pure spin, a frantic effort to maintain the illusion of power. But was the league actually buying it, or were they seeing right through the facade? The market wasn't developing as they hoped. Rich Paul's frantic interviews, these public declarations of widespread interest, were telltale signs of a dwindling market. It's a classic tactic. If you don't have the buyers, you create the perception of demand. But the NBA landscape had shifted. Teams were warier of investing huge sums in future assets into an aging superstar, no matter how legendary. The LeBron effect no longer guaranteed instant championships, or immediate, unquestioning deference. The league was quietly, subtly beginning to move on. What would happen when the king realized his once unquestionable leverage had vanished?
$50 million contract extension. LeBron James and Rich Paul reportedly expected to ask the Lakers for a one-year max contract worth $57 million.
And just like that, the number appeared. A staggering $57 million for a one-year max contract. This wasn't a rumor, it was a concrete ask. It proved, definitively, that the happiness over money narrative was a smokescreen. This was about cold, hard cash, and ensuring LeBron left nothing on the table. But the Lakers had other priorities, other contracts to consider. This massive demand created an immediate conflict, forcing the Lakers to choose between indulging a fading star or building a sustainable future. The team's loyalties were divided, and the tension was palpable. Could this be the moment the Lakers finally said enough is enough? The demand for an exorbitant max contract, especially after the public facade of prioritizing happiness, revealed a deep hypocrisy. It became clear that the entire negotiation was centered around financial leverage, not a genuine desire to remain with the Lakers for the love of the game. This was pure business, but played out with a dramatic, often misleading, public narrative. The Lakers, meanwhile, had their own calculations to make. They had young talent, future assets, and a post-LeBron vision. How could they reconcile LeBron's demands with their long-term strategy? The stage was set for an inevitable clash, but who would blink?
I think the focus right now is making a deal with the Lakers. Right now, he's allowed to negotiate with the Lakers, and I believe they're negotiating. I believe they're going back and forth. Then Shams said 9 days later, there has been no communication between them whatsoever.
The sheer audacity of these contradictions is breathtaking. Brian Windhorst claims, negotiations are happening, they're going back and forth. Then, just 9 days later, Shams Charania drops the bombshell. No communication whatsoever. This isn't a misunderstanding. It's a direct, public clash of narratives from supposedly insider sources. It exposes the coordinated effort to control information, and how quickly it crumbled under scrutiny. One hand didn't know what the other was doing, or perhaps they were both desperately trying to peddle their version of the truth to protect their client. But when stories don't align, who are we supposed to believe? This isn't just a media blunder. It's a window into the chaos behind the scenes. The conflicting reports underscore the disarray within LeBron's camp and their media surrogates. They were so intent on crafting a narrative of power and demand that they failed to keep their stories straight. It created a web of lies, a tangled mess where truth became a casualty. Fans were left scratching their heads, wondering what was really happening. But for those paying close attention, it was clear. The narrative was fracturing, and the Kings' control over the media landscape was slipping. What other deceptions would be exposed as the truth finally...
He set out for the first, 10, 15, whatever games it was, hoping that the team would lose. So he would come back and show them their value, what they lost. But the gamble backfired because Reeves emerged as an all-star caliber player. So the big plan blew up in their face.
The calculated gamble. LeBron, according to the host, sat out, hoping the Lakers would flounder, proving his indispensable value. It was a power play, a strategic absence designed to make the team realize what they've lost. But then, a wrench in the plan. Austin Reeves emerged, an unexpected all-star caliber talent. He defied expectations, leading the team in LeBron's absence. The Kings' meticulously crafted strategy backfired spectacularly. The Lakers found success without him, proving they weren't entirely reliant on his singular presence. This wasn't just a missed game, it was a monumental shift in power. The team moved on, but could LeBron? This twist was a pivotal moment. LeBron's perceived attempt to manipulate the team's performance inadvertently paved the way for a new star to shine. It shattered the illusion that the Lakers' success was solely tied to him. Austin Reeves' breakout season wasn't just a feel-good story. It was a loud declaration that the Lakers had a future beyond their aging superstar. This unexpected turn of events fundamentally altered the negotiation landscape, stripping LeBron of significant leverage. The Lakers had found their footing, their identity, without the king. How would this newfound independence affect their willingness to
pass this year? It's clear. So how is he moving on from the Lakers when there was no contract on the table? I'm confused. How do you reject a girl that you asked out and told you no? How does it work? You're not interested, but you asked her before and she said she's not interested in you. But now you want to turn it around and be like, you're not interested in her. It's all been one big lie.
The ultimate spin, and the host expertly exposes its absurdity. How can LeBron move on or reject the Lakers when they never even offer him a contract? It's like breaking up with someone who never asked you out in the first place. This was a desperate attempt by ESPN and LeBron's camp to save face, to frame his departure as his choice. Not a mutual parting of ways, or worse, a rejection of his terms. The Lakers, as the host brilliantly points out, had already made their stance clear a year prior. This was a carefully constructed fiction, designed to protect the Kings' image at all costs. But the truth, as always, has a funny way. This narrative manipulation wasn't just about PR, it was about rewriting history. By portraying LeBron as the one moving on, the media attempted to deflect from the Lakers' decision to prioritize their future and the uncomfortable reality of LeBron's dwindling leverage. It highlighted a consistent pattern. When the facts didn't align with the desired image, the facts were simply altered. This brazen disregard for the truth fueled public distrust and created a deeply skewed perception of the actual events. But for the informed fan, the smoke and mirrors were starting to dissipate. What would the reaction be when the full extent of this narrative deception was unveiled?
Nick Wright, who for the last 8 years, no matter the circumstance, would tell you how the Lakers could win Nick Wright thought the Lakers had a chance at winning the title every year, even last year, when he was doing his championship pie and all of that and ranking LeBron, his pyramid and all of that. Like, these are the people that were holding up the Lakers all these years, right? And now you know the only reason that they were doing that is because...
Enter Nick Wright, the self-proclaimed Lakers oracle, but truly a LeBron loyalist. For years, he was the Kings' most fervent cheerleader, predicting championships no matter the team's actual performance. He created championship pies and LeBron pyramids, elevating his idol to untouchable status. His analysis wasn't about the Lakers, it was about LeBron on the Lakers. This clip perfectly captures the unwavering, almost blind devotion. It sets the stage for his inevitable meltdown, as his entire framework of analysis was built on one man. But what happens when that foundation crumbles? What happens when the king... Nick Wright represented a significant segment of the sports media, those whose entire credibility seemed intertwined with LeBron James's success. His commentary was less about objective analysis and more about constructing a narrative that always favored his chosen superstar. This intense loyalty wasn't just a quirk, it was a business model. So when LeBron departed, it wasn't just a player leaving a team. It was a seismic event that threatened to collapse an entire ecosystem of media cheerleading. The stage was now set for the ultimate test of their allegiance. Would they adapt, or would they crumble in the face of LeBron's absence? The answer was coming, and it was going to be ugly.
Well, it's not a very strong team at all. They got worse. And Marcus Smart was wildly important to him. He's gone. Kennard was a great pickup. He's gone. Rui is not re-signed yet, and the second best player on the team's gone.
And there it is. The panic sets in. After years of unwavering optimism, Nick Wright suddenly declares, "They got worse." The conviction in his voice is undeniable, but the reasoning is purely defensive. He lists a few players gone, but conspicuously omits the excitement and acquisitions the Lakers did make. This wasn't analysis, it was emotional reaction. His entire worldview, built around LeBron's presence, had just been shattered. The Lakers, for so long, were defined by one player at his eyes. Now without him, they were instantly worse, regardless of the actual roster moves. It's a classic case of selective outrage masking deep-seated bias. But what does this mean for his credibility moving forward? This is the moment the facade cracked for many. Nick Wright's abrupt reversal, his instant declaration of the Lakers' demise, exposed his true allegiances. It wasn't about the team's actual talent or potential. It was about the absence of his idol. This wasn't just an opinion. It was a desperate attempt to frame the Lakers' future as bleak, solely because LeBron wasn't there to steer the ship. The frustration from the host is palpable, recognizing this shift as pure generational hatred. It raises a crucial question for sports media. Can commentators truly be objective when their entire brand is built on the cult of personality? The answer in this case seems unequivocally no. Are you ready for the full truth about LeBron's market value? Listen closely. Most people miss this because they're too busy looking for a magic pill. Real growth is uncomfortable. If you aren't uncomfortable, you aren't growing. This is exactly what separates the top 1% from the rest. Most people work hard, but they lack this specific mindset shift. Stop focusing on the noise. Focus on this one detail, and the results will follow. That right there is the truth nobody wants to tell you. Success isn't complicated, it's just hard. Stop making excuses. Apply this today and watch what happens. Listen closely to what was just said. That is the key to unlocking real potential. Most people miss this, but it's the most important part. This is exactly what separates the top 1% from the rest. Most people work hard, but they lack this specific mindset shift. Stop focusing on the noise. Focus on this one detail, and the results will follow. Listen closely. Most people miss this because they're too busy looking for a magic pill. Real growth is uncomfortable. If you aren't uncomfortable, you aren't growing. That right there is the truth nobody wants to tell you. Success isn't complicated, it's just hard. Stop making excuses. Apply this today and watch what happens. I've seen this pattern so many times. When you truly understand this concept, everything changes. It's a simple shift in perspective, but the impact is massive. This is exactly what separates the top 1% from the rest. Most people work hard, but they lack this specific mindset shift. Stop focusing on the noise. Focus on this one detail, and the results will follow. This is a fascinating point that really highlights the core message. It is these small details that often separate the amateurs from the professionals. I've seen this pattern destroy so many careers. When you ignore this concept, you stay stuck. But once you flip this switch in your brain, everything changes instantly.